Hello. Hi there. Hello. I'm just giving this a couple seconds as people are getting on. And I've got, hi Norma. Hi Kathy. Hey Carol. Hi Jenica. Hi Pat. Hi Paula. Hey, I haven't seen you in a while, Paula. I'm glad you made it. Hi Aretta May. Hi Jessica. So, for today, if you guys remember a few lessons ago, I showed you how to do flat netting. So, I think I showed you, I did go shopping at Hobby Lobby. I really needed thread, so I picked up some thread and some twins. So I did find, those were all 50% off. I didn't find as many of those clearance tags that like you had. So I think all the Bicons were gone, but still I got some good stuff. Hi Debbie. So, anyway, a few lessons ago I showed you how to do flat netting. And so today I thought I'd show you how to do tubular netting, but I know that there's a lot of lessons on YouTube with tubular netting. So, and I bet if you go on YouTube and just type in tubular netting, you would get quite a few tutorials showing something like this. So this is a bracelet made with 11-aught seed beads and 4mm fire polish. So that's one technique, and there's a lot of tutorials on this. So one of the things I wanted to change this up a little bit is show you how to also do an increase and a decrease within the tubular netting. So, so here's my little sample that I've worked up, and I actually started with 4mm rounds, and then I went up into 6mm rounds, so I can show you how to go about doing an increase. Another option you guys have, so I know Jenica, you had asked me what to do with 3.5mm bead or square cubes. So here I have done this, and this is a YouTube tutorial on my channel, and if you look, I've used cubes inside my netting. So I've made a pair of hoop earrings with this, but you can keep going and turn it into a bracelet if you want, or a necklace. But this is one way to use up those cubes that you got, Jenica. One thought anyway. So here I made a pair, and so if anybody wants to see the tutorial, it's actually my first tutorial on the YouTube channel. This is the first thing I did when I started the channel a few years back. Thanks, Pat. Okay, so oh yeah, I'm glad you like it. Yeah, I think you can, you can do a lot with cubes. You just sort of have to think a little outside the box. All right, and there's my, all right, so to start, the way I start this is, to start the base of this, you want to start with your large beads. So here's what I did here with my 4mm rounds. And I've got some odd colors here, but this is more to just really make it easier for you guys to see what I'm doing. So my color palette's kind of odd. Anyway, thanks, Paula. So you want to start with 3 beads, and you want to pick up one of your chenille stitch. So I did a tutorial on chenille stitch. Not that long. It was tubular chenille. I don't have that bracelet here. But it was the black and gold beads that I did that bangle tutorial. That was chenille stitch. Actually, it's posted on my YouTube channel if you want to take a look at it. So, hi Kim. Oh yeah, you just made it. I'm just getting started. So I picked up 3 of my 4mm and 3 of my 11s here. And you just want to bring them down and then make a circle with these. So you're just going to go back through the beads. And all right, so there's my circle. So now netting is, as I've shown you before, you want to do this with odd numbers of beads. So this next round, so this is round 1, and in the next round, you're gonna make the outer netting portion. So here with the sample, we're gonna make this outer portion here. So in this, I'm gonna do this with 7 beads. And this is something you kind of figure out based on your beads. And typically with a 4mm bead, I found that 7 works best. So even over here in this sample, I used loops of 7. And this was a 4mm bicone, or fire polish. But over here with the cubes, when I did those, again, it was 5. So I did groups of 5 over here. So if you look at each loop, it's actually groups of 5. So it's something you sort of play with when you are working with the particular bead you're using. And you'll notice right away, because what you'll see is if it's too small, you'll see too much thread showing. And so I usually say start with 7, and if you think it's too big, then go down. And what you do is you go down on your, so here, like, I would reduce one of the silver beads on this side and one of the silver beads on this side. So you just make it at 5 beads. Anyway, so now you go into, hi Denise, you go into your next 11 over here. So you're gonna have this wing, kind of looks like a little wing or a loop, and it's gonna be sticking out. And then you repeat this 3 more times. So I'm gonna pick up 3 of my silver, and then my bronze over here, so it sticks out and you guys can see what I'm doing. So I got my 7, and I'm going into this next bead. So there you go. And so is anybody watching the Olympics? I guess they're not officially started. I haven't really looked to see what's going on, but here's your next 7. So you go into this bead, and this round is now complete. So you got your 3 little loops done. Then you go up into this center bead here. Oh, opening ceremonies. Oh yeah, I always miss them. I always forget, but I can always catch them on the internet at some point. Now, all right. Well, looks like opening ceremonies tonight then. For some reason, I thought it was Sunday. I don't know why I thought that. So you're going to pick up your next large bead now. So you pick up your 4mm and you go up into the next central bead here in this loop. You just bring it in, bring it up. That's nice, you guys. Well, I'm honored that you guys are watching me instead of the Olympics. Hi, Cheryl. And one more. So just note that I'm only going into my middle bead. So I'm only going into these bronze beads here. And so I am just scroll to the, what is it? Go to the right, swipe to the right with your finger, and it should get rid of your all the comments, and then pick up the next round bead. So there you go. That's a round that's done. So now to start our next round, you again, so you're coming out of this bronze bead. So we're gonna just pick up our 7 beads and go into the next bronze, which is over here. And I'm going to repeat this 2 more times is what I'm doing here. So I'm picking up my 7 beads and going into the next group. And then I'm going to continue on. Yeah, it's actually very simple. You're just going to go round and round. So there's 2 different, in one round you're picking up your round beads like I'm doing with these, or whatever larger bead that you're using. And then the next round you're making your seed bead loops. That's what you're doing in netting. Hi Barbara. And this is all you would do. So in this next round I would pick up my 3 4mm beads. So, but instead what I'm actually going to do now is show you how to do an increase. So here's what it would look like if you continued. You would just continue and doing the same things what I just showed you. And then to do the increase now, what I'm actually going to do is go ahead and pick up the 6mm round. And I'm going to go into the next bead, or my next central bead here. And again, so you're going to repeat this. You're going to do this 3 times instead of the 4mm. So you would get these, and you want to give this a tug, and they're going to sit. So they're going to sit fairly well. But for this next round, when I make my seed bead loops, what I'm actually going to do is do an increase in the loop size. So this time I'm actually going to pick up 9 beads. So I've got my 4. It's called Lefthand Beading Channel, Terry. So I've got 9 instead. So I've got 4 silvers with the bronze in the middle and 4 on the other side of that bronze. And then I just go into the next bronze bead over here. So I'm coming out of one bronze bead, I'm just going to go into the next one. And see, so you see the loop is a little bit, it's going to fit better. And I'm going to go ahead and pick up another 9 beads here. And you can go into the next. And you got to do it one more time to complete the round. Hi, Julie. So then there's the 9. And I'm just going to go into this bronze and then step up by going through all the beads and coming out of that bronze from this recent loop. Yep, this is how you do the increase. This is why I thought to show you something a little bit different. I figure if you guys are watching on YouTube, I'm sure you've seen all the tubular netting tutorials. And so you can see the loop's a little bit bigger, and what I'm going to do is go ahead and add the next round of blue beads here. Oops. Thank you, Terry. And there it is. So you can see how it all fits together. And it's pretty simple. So now to do the decrease, it's going to be the same way. You're just going in the reverse order. So my next set of loops now, if you want it to just, decrease, add in these sparkly big beads in the center, then you can continue on with the decrease. And so you would just reduce the size of your loop. So if you look here, this loop is actually 9 beads. You can see there's 4 here, and there's the center bead. But if you look at the loop above that, there's only 7. So that's how you would start the decrease, and then I added in the smaller turquoise beads here. I'm doing well, Julie. How are you doing? All right, so I'm going to go ahead and do the decrease. So we'll go ahead and reduce this back down to 7. Oh yeah, definitely. This is, so one of the nice things with tubular netting is that it makes up quickly, and it's a great, so if you have pendants, it's a great rope. Oh yes, it does. So yes, Loretta May, they do make great beaded beads. So that's another, a lot of people do them as beaded beads. So, or this could be just a little pendant. So you can see it's wider and it's kind of like a drop pendant. So there's lots of different options for you. Oh, I'm so sorry, Paula. Oh, I think I would go crazy. I guess you'll have to watch, well, I guess I can watch beading tutorials, and then you have plenty of ideas once you are able to start. All right, so I got 7 this time. And I'm just going to go back and through that bronze bead again. So no, they do not have to be round at all, Barbara. So over here, the beads I used are fire polish. So they're more cylindrical shaped. And over here in my sample, I actually used cubes. You can use bicones also and rondelles. So it's really up to you. It's pretty versatile. You can do just about any bead in the center that you want. And so here's another 7 because we're going to now do the decrease. So I'm picking up the 7 to finish out the round. Ooh, I'm jealous, Norma. I think it's, well, we had pretty good weather here too. It was in the 50s earlier today and it went down into the 40s. So not bad for St. Louis. Are you asking about, so Kim, your question, how do I tell if I have enough beads? Do you mean in terms of your project? Thank you, Julie. And so I finished up the loop. So this loop is smaller, and then now I would go ahead and just add in my smaller beads. So I'm going to pick up my turquoise beads. You would have to, so you would have to test it. And the one way to do it is to see if you are seeing thread. So let me show you what I mean. And so I'm just going to finish up this round here. So if this, if you use too few beads, then you would see a lot more thread is the issue you would run into. So you would notice right away, it would feel very tight, Kim, and this wouldn't just sit as neatly as it's sitting. So you would definitely be able to tell. And if it's too big, you're gonna see, it's gonna feel very loose. So that's how you can tell that you're not using enough beads. So you can see you can't really see thread in any of the loops that I'm doing. And so the beads all look like they sort of fit together. And that's the way to tell. I mean, it's really one of these things you have to test out. And so there it is. So there, I finished this up, and there's the start of my decrease. And now you can go back to doing the smaller, continue with the smaller loops here. Thank you, Paula. So here's I'm going to make a loop of 7 again. And so I'm going to finish this round, and then I'll show you guys how to close this off if you make a necklace or a bracelet. Hey, Christina. So my loop is 7. Oh, thank you, Aretta May. And I'm going to go ahead and step up. Got my loops done, and now I'm just going to add in these last beads. And I'll show you how to finish. That's too funny. And so, all right, so there's our increase kind of encapsulated in there. Oh, I'm so glad you like it, Norma. Okay, so what you're gonna do is you can go through these beads again. I'm gonna go ahead and go through and come out of my turquoise here. And then what you would do is you would pick up 2 or 3 rather of one of your 11s, then your larger bead, and then about another 7 beads to make our loop. So I got 5. And then you would skip over these beads, go back down our big bead. Oh wow, that's a lot of people watching there. Art beads, they don't have 2mm drucks. Then pick up your next 3 beads and go into the 4 that's on over here. And then continue through. And you would want to go back up in here. Thanks, Barbara. So you would just want to go up into this bead. Try fusion beads, that's another spot you can do. And go through your loop. So this way you can reinforce the loop. Come back down. And let's see, oh, there we go. Got a little tight there for a second. Oh, Kathy's got you there, Julie. Look, she says, Eureka crystal beads, Fire Mountain gem, that is. All right, pick up your last 3 and we're gonna finish off our 4th little loop here. So, and you would just make a little loop like this. Now you could make this big and make like you can do a big loop and then add a toggle on the other end of it. So you'd put a toggle on one side. So that's one, this is one way to do it. Another technique that I used is to actually use hat pins. So in this bracelet, what I did was I actually closed up my loop, but on a hat pin, I inserted one of my 4mm fire polish beads, and then I tightened up the loops. So the hat pin is coming out, and there's like, it's on a larger bead here, and it's not going to come up. So you can actually, it's an 8/0 that I use, so you can see it right there. That's the 8/0, not a fire polish, but a 8/0, so it keeps it in place and it stays in the center. So that's another technique. So if you didn't want to do it with beads, that's one way to do it. Or you can make up these little beads like I did over here. Anyway, I hope you guys are enjoying this. So if you guys have any questions, let me know. Oh yeah, isn't this, yeah, I like doing this because it's so easy. And I always have so many hat pins, and then you just make your loop. And it's still nice and clean looking, so. I think I might have a little pendant here. Oh, you're welcome, Barbara. You're welcome, Norma. So I hope you guys enjoyed my little tutorial and techniques on tubular netting and how to do increase and decreases. You're welcome, Carol, and I will see you tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Central. You're welcome, Kathy. Have a good evening, everyone. Bye. Enjoy the Olympics. Thank you, Pat.